Is gambling the best way to make money in the 21st century? Let's take a deep dive into the first known history of gambling. But first, we got to know what gambling even is for those that don't. If you're somebody that doesn't know what gambling is, it's a wagering of something of value on a random event with an intent of winning something else of value. Gambling's actually been around for a very long time, dating all the way back to the ancient origins. The Sumerians actually were the first ones that we can have traces of using a gambling system where they used sheep knuckle bones as four-sided dice around 5000 BC. Moving all the way to 3000 BC, we can see that the Egyptians began using the more modern six-sided dice. In ancient Chinese civilizations, early card style games started being played around 2300 BC. In the 15th century, lotteries emerged as a form of organized gambling that people could do. And this was implied by the government because before that time, it was all like under the table, illegal, and that's kind of what we've seen in modern day. And it hasn't been until recently that we're seeing a lot of countries, not just in the United States, make it more legalized. There's still different forms of illegal gambling that can go on, and not every state in the United States is fully legal in betting, and that goes for the entire globe as well. Depending on where you're at, you might only have certain forms of legalized gambling, and in certain other places of the world, gambling still completely illegal. In the United Kingdom, for example, in 2005, that is when they made a cornerstone in their history of where they can gamble and it's legal, but only various aspects are legal. So something we can see here is like including casinos, you can play poker, you can play sports betting, pools, lottery betting, right? Kind of the big things are all legal, but there's still licensing and regulations that claim that certain acts of it are still illegal. So the Financial Conduct Authority manages spread betting, while other forms of sports betting fall under the UKGC's purview, which means that there's not going to be all the different aspects of gambling that you can do, let's say in the United States. But in certain states, such as Michigan, you can bet whatever sports bet you want. But someplace like Florida, as of the recording of this video, it's not fully legal to even sports bet yet. And this is all coming down to state regulations and what they decide. Legal gambling houses actually started in the 17th century. And this is where it kind of took the randomizing and people trying to get like mathematics and seeing if they could predict the same outcome every single time. Sports betting dates all the way back to the 18th century. This is one of my favorite things to do is like bet on the NFL. I like to do a little parlays here and there, little straight bets. But I don't put a lot of money on it because at the end of the day, I feel that it is more of a hobby and probably not the safest way to make money. In European history, gambling has been on the up and down with legal, illegal, different forms of it. But the popularity across the entire society has always remained about the same, that people enjoy the gambling. The most popular form of gambling today is, of course, the lottery. There's big money involved. Everybody just wants a taste of that money that can get generated and that they could live off for the rest of their life. Gambling, and if it's actually worth your investment and if it's a good way to actually make money. So I'm going to show you the top 3 most popular ways of betting and how often people actually win and if it's actually worth your investment versus trying to throw your money in the stock market. So the number 1 is going to be the casino gambling, right? This is where you just go to a casino. They have all different games. You can play poker, you can play blackjack, you can go on the slots. There's all different types of things that you can do to try to generate revenue. And what we have to remember though is that over a 2-year period, the online casino players reveals that approximately only 11% of gamblers ended up profitable. And it took 2 years to even generate 11% of those gamblers making money. So if we were to break that down evenly, which I'm not saying it is evenly, I'm just saying if we could, that would be roughly 5.5% of gamblers per year in the casino actually end up making profit, which is a really, really low number. And out of 100 people, that would be about 5 people, roughly, is what we're kind of looking at, let's say. Now, the other thing about this statistic is that most of these profitable players only had a net win of $150 or less, which is absolutely crazy. So that means out of those 11%, nearly all of them only won $150 or less, which is not life-changing money. Now, the other one is, of course, sports betting. This is huge, and I like sports betting. I do. I'm not going to sit here and suggest that it's horrible and it's bad, and I don't like it, and I don't say to have a little fun and splurge a little bit and put some money down. It's all within reason, because sports betting, with professional sports bettors, they only have a win percentage of 55% long term. But they're professionals. They do this day in and day out. And at a 55%, that's basically flipping a coin. If we're seeing professionals only get 55% chance of winning long term. If you're going to put money in long term, put it in the stock market. Put it in the S&P 500. Put it in Dow Jones. Put it in good stock markets. Put it in a retirement, because then you have nearly 100% chance of generating revenue long term. Why would you flip a coin on trying to make profit long term? And this is not even suggesting the fact that these professionals are making a lot of money. Going back to the last one with casino gambling, most of them only made $150 or less. Now, number 3 is going to be, of course, the slot machines. Everybody likes the slot machines. You know, you go up there. It's like playing a video game. Like, you just go up, boom, crap. Okay, just put another one in. It'll be fine. Put another coin in. And that's great. It's fun. It's a good social experience when you're out and about, right? Get some food, play some money, maybe have a chance to have some life-changing money. Who knows, right? I think it's got to be all done within reason, though, because the slot machines actually statistically have the worst odds out of all forms of betting, which is absolutely crazy. And the chance of winning a top prize with maximum coin play can range from 1 in 5,000 to about 1 in 34 million, which means your best chance of actually winning on the slots is 1 in 5,000 for like top prize money, right? If you're going a little bit lower, of course your chances are going to be better, but people are normally betting, of course, for fun should be the number one thing, because trying to win that money and have that life-changing money is almost impossible, as we can see. Yeah, you might walk away with $100, you might walk away with $50, heck, you might even walk away with $1,000, but it's not exactly life-changing money, and it's going to be temporary. Most people go in there with the hopes that they can win millions or billions of dollars and be able to live off that for the rest of their life and be able to quit their job. And that leads me into my another point, where most people that don't earn their money and actually win their money, such as this way, they just pull the lever, maybe they win in blackjack, you're really good at poker, and you win in a poker table and you win life-changing money. A lot of people that don't actually like work for it and have to put in hours and hours and hours of learning and using their brain or using their hands or both and trying to make like a business, they tend to be better with money than the person that just came into money automatically. And it's not just winning it in gambling, but if you just come into it somehow because of an inheritance, a lot of people don't know how to manage the money when it comes in that quickly and end up blowing it. You would think it's almost unbelievable to spend that kind of money, and it happens actually quite often for these winners that are few and far between to speak of regardless. And it just goes to show that I think long term it's better to put your money in a researchable stock market. Do your research, put the patience in. It's more long-term, yes. It might not generate as much money as that you're looking at and going to the slot machine and you look up and you see is, oh, you could win $10 million. But the idea is that, yes, it takes longer. Yes, you're not going to generate as much money, but it's less risky. And for how much risk is actually involved in gambling, it's one of the worst ways to make money. And it's actually a better way at losing your money. Gambling does have a good sense of, hey, go in there, spend a little bit of money. A lot of people that I know that are good about it, they can put, let's say, $100 in one pocket and they put their winnings in another pocket. And once that $100 is out, they're out, right? And you got to do what's best for you. Be willing to lose that money, because Gambling is like going to the movies, right? When you go and gamble, when you're sitting at the poker table, that's your fun. Instead of watching a movie, you're playing poker. So just know that you're more than likely going to be without the money at the end of the day, and that the odds are always tilted in the house's favor, and you have to realize that as well. That's something that a lot of people think they can eventually beat, is the odds against the house, and it's not geared that way. If the house didn't have the favor, they wouldn't win, and if they weren't winning the money that they needed, the house would collapse, and you would have to be like on the streets gambling. So we all have to consider that as well. The best thing to do is going to be invest your money, and I talk about investing all your money, how to invest your money, where you can invest your money, all in this video here.